With all your time studying tape and analyzing, you say you see some openings with his opponents. What do you see when it comes to Robert Whitaker?
Robert is one-dimensional, and unfortunately, people think he's very fast. He's not as fast as Anderson Silva. All the people that he has fought and he did very well against, they are all wrestlers. From Romero, Jacare, Brownson, Tavares. The only striker that he ever fought was Stephen Thompson. And what happened?
You stuff, baby.
So, it's unbelievable that people forget Israel has had over 80 fights in kickboxing and only 5 losses. How many people do that? I mean, it's unbelievable. People think, oh, Israel is all hype. That's why we are wearing this. It's no hype. It's a hype train. And I tell you, it's going to show Robert and his supporters tomorrow the stuff that he is made of.
It's amazing that this kid decided to get into MMA and work through all the difficulties involved in transitioning from being a kickboxer to being a mixed martial arts fighter, but we're seeing it all come into focus now.
Thank you, guys.
Joe, let's take a look at our fight replay.
And this is what has always made Stephen Thompson so special. His ability to move in and out, his ability to snake-like land these combinations. Slide back, 1-2, boom, right hand on the button. And even you see as he lands that right hand, he's moving away from potential counters. He sees Whitaker go down and he swarms on him.
I just came off second best tonight. That's not to say it'll happen 2 times in a row. A lot of the fans don't realize that we're walking a tightrope out there and everybody can beat anybody. And tonight it wasn't my night, but tomorrow might be.
Can you tell us a little bit about the game plan coming in? We noticed you early on, looked like charging in to try to close that distance and dealing with a fighter who is taller and has that long reach. Can you tell us a little bit about what the thinking was and what the strategy was for how to get in there and touch him?
Yeah, you can't hit him on the outside. He's very long, he's very tall. Any guy trying to get in on a tall fighter has to close that gap. And I was having a lot of success doing so. I was hitting him.
Whitaker dealing with some blood coming out of that nose, goes high with the kick. Adesanya easily backs up out of harm's way. Now Whitaker goes high with the kick and lands.
In the first round, I was hitting him. I was hurting him. I was doing work. I was doing damage. I felt like I felt really good out there. I felt like I was controlling the fight. And then I just got caught.
And if you know Adesanya, you know he's not going to force the finish. Oh, beautiful body work now from Adesanya. Pretty good right hand counter there from Whitaker.
The quickness of Adesanya to evade these high kicks. Hands down, just leaning back out of the range of those kicks. He's got to be very careful.
Whitaker nearly on his feet. Adesanya trying to close it out. Israel Adesanya is the undisputed king of the middleweights.
Man, every time Rob jumped in there, he was taking damage. And look what happened.
Did you give any thought? People wondered beforehand, can you go in there and wrestle Adesanya? And that's one of the things people still wonder about him is can he stand up to somebody who can bring a good wrestling attack? Did you have that as part of the game plan? Like, hey, maybe look for a takedown if it's there?
Definitely. I work my wrestling religiously. I think there's a misconception that if I have good defensive wrestling, I don't have good offensive wrestling. But that's not true. I practice all wrestling. So, it's in my arsenal. I just felt like I didn't need it. Like I said, I was having success with the strikes. And, I was doing well until I wasn't. That's just how it happens. No, I appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
I do not need to hear a fighter's immediate reaction to his or her knockout loss. Whitaker was knocked out twice in this fight against Adesanya. I'd say a knockout loss and a concussion go hand in hand. Him seemingly overestimating his own performance in the post-fight press conference, or just generally post-fight, that would support my assumption. Actually, I'm not completely sure that Whitaker should have been allowed to continue into the second round. You could make a case for Whitaker actually recovering and having, slight success in the second round, but the desperation got somewhat heightened by that knockdown. And if it wasn't the end of the round, if Adesanya was able to follow up, would Robert Whitaker have been able to continue? It kind of reminded me a little bit of that Jorge Masvidal Donald Cerrone fight, in which Corbin Cerrone gets heavily dropped at the horn. Granted, he took a couple of follow-up and ground strikes too, but he got up wobbly, but went on to go into the second round where he was promptly finished.
All right, listen, Cowboy, focus on me. Cowboy, hey, you're fine. You've been dropped before, like every fight. Listen to me. You have to move your head. What am I telling you to do? What are you going to do? We are not losing in Denver. You are not losing today. You get out there and you move your head.
In Cerrone's case, man, he took heavy ground strikes, Whitaker was spared of that, but both of them, they fell over kind of like timber. UFC should allow these just knocked out fighters to receive appropriate medical attention instead of positioning these zombies for the winner announcement.
Let the flesh KO!
That was crazy. Holy smokes, he put him to sleep. And Justin Tough is still down. That was a massive, massive right hand by De Castro, put him out.
And how respectful are these fans, by the way, acknowledging the Cape Verdean Yorgan De Castro. Let's get to the fight replay, brought to you by Namarop, old character since 1872.
Look at Taffa, he tried to square up right there, switches his stance to try to land a big shot and walk right into that overhand right. Big walk-off knockout by De Castro. Boom, right on the chin, and you cannot take a strike like that from a guy that is that big. They both threw. De Castro was just a little bit straighter with his strike and put Taffa out. I mean, toes curled, arms straight, he's sleeping. That's 2 times in a row that De Castro's come in as a dog and put on phenomenal performances. Finished the fight on the Contender Series with leg kicks and then has this walk-off knockout at UFC 243.
Well, not going to be hard for him to get fights anymore. What a moment for Yorgan De Castro tonight. The official decision brought to you by Metro by T-Mobile. Catch all the action with Metro by T-Mobile's knockout coverage and unlimited data. Here's Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Jim Perdios has called a stop to this contest at 2 minutes, 10 seconds of the very first round. Declaring the winner by knockout, Yorgan the Mad Titan De Castro.
See, I don't need these fighters to give me an explanation, especially if they're still wiping the sleep out of their eyes. I can do without post-fight interviews and post-fight press conferences. Give these dudes a little bit of time to recover. Yeah, a lot of these dudes, man, they want to be good sports, and they get taken advantage of. I think that's like a trend that I see since Dominic Cruz took his L against Cody Garbrandt and displayed humility in defeat.
Dominic, obviously a tough night for you tonight.
What was tough about it?
Walking away with the loss, of course.
Loss is part of life. If you don't have loss, you don't grow. This isn't tough, this is life.
What did you think about your performance tonight? Some people said maybe you weren't quite at 100% tonight.
They're wrong. I was there. That was 100% me. I was healthy. I was everything I've always been in my eyes. I got caught in a couple transitions, and that's how it goes in this game. You're swinging 4-ounce gloves. You get caught sometimes. What else can you really say about that? I got to go back and watch the fight, obviously. But I can't, after feeling it, after getting through it, after seeing the look in his eyes a couple times when I punched him, when I kicked him, when I fought him, I'm not disappointed in myself at all. All I can say is I lost, and I'll take my loss like a man.
Was there anything he did in there that surprised you? The hand speed, the movement, the taunting, was there anything that surprised you?
I was expecting all of it, I swear I was. And I taunted him back, and I talked back, and I enjoyed every second of this fight. Look, guys, I I've been fighting the best guys in the world for the past 10 years, top 2 in the world. I've been on the pound-for-pound list for a long time. Even when I was hurt with triple ACL reconstructive surgeries, there was a target on my back. I had to come back and fight through it. This was no different. This was just another fight that I had to challenge myself. I knew that he was going to be good. I said that leading into it. He knew I was going to be good. And that's what it is when you're champion. Somebody else has the target on their back. Now I get to chase the target for once. That's how it goes. It's okay, you know. We've seen the best in the world lose it, and we've seen the best in the world gain it back. I've seen Michael Bisping lose countless times, and look at him. He's got the title right now. Whoever thought Michael Bisping would have the title, and he's got it. There's one example. Daniel Cormier lost the title. He's somebody I very much look up to. He's an Olympian. He's a savage. He came back and won the title. This happens, but we're all competitors here, and it's a game of inches. He beat me by a couple inches tonight, and that's okay.
I don't know that these interviews are really in the fighter's best interest, especially if they've been forcibly snoring, you know. You gotta understand weakness will be exploited, as we've seen in the past, when we see Joe Rogan interview just brutally stopped fighters like Overeem or Cormier.
When you're doing interviews at the end of fights, did you ever feel threatened somehow?
No.
Like at least once.
No. One thing that I hope the fighters realize is that what I'm trying to do is only get them to express themselves. I want them to shine. I really genuinely want them. They won this big fight. I want them to express themselves. I want them to maybe maximize their marketing, their marketability, and just like tell the world how they feel. Like that's an incredibly unusual experience to win a big fight in the cage on pay-per-view in front of millions of people. My goal is only to try to get them to communicate the better and to let them know that I'm there to support them. That's all I'm ever trying to do.
Perfect.
You know.
And Alistair Overeem still out. They're trying to get him up to a stool. He tried to get onto his feet and fell back down.
Overeem early. Boom. Knocks Stipe back, and he swarmed. But Miocic, the aggressor, uppercut, patient, chasing down Overeem, and you want to talk about vicious ground and pound, hammer fist, postured up, pinpoint accuracy, title defense complete. They're celebrating here in Cleveland.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Mark Goddard has called a stop to this contest at 4 minutes, 27 seconds of the very first round, declaring the winner by knockout and still the undisputed UFC heavyweight champion of the world, Stipe Miocic.
Давайте послушаем, что скажет Overeem. Были моменты, говорит Джо Роган, были возможности одержать победу. Сегодня Стипе был лучше.
There's one thing I can't say about the fight. I believe when I punched him and he went down, I followed him, I got him in the guillotine choke, and I clearly felt a tap.
Да, и Overeem говорит, что были моменты, да, я попал по нему, достал его тяжело. Я пытался завершить этот поединок гильотиной. Но в итоге, в общем, я свои шансы не использовал. А он использовал, и я все равно себя считаю лучшим бойцом, но сегодня он был сильнее.
Well, let's take a look at it. We'll have the truck pull it, and let's look at the big screen. Let's take a look at it right here. You dropped him, you had him hurt, you grabbed a hold of the
Достал его, ты
guillotine,
повалил его. Был вариант для гильотины.
We'll take a look at the whole thing in slow motion. Tell us when you see the tap. Here it is, you got it locked up.
Но в итоге здесь, в общем, просто не удалось забросить ноги на соперника и получить контроль таким образом над его корпусом.
You felt like it was in the beginning. Did you see it there? You didn't see it there, but you felt it. We'll take a look at it one more time from another angle and see if we can isolate it.
Давайте посмотрим с другого угла, говорит Джо Роган.
We'll see it one more time. Here's the punch.
Вот то самое попадание.
You had him hurt. You grabbed a hold of his neck.
Забрал шею.
Where do you see the tap? That looks like he's trying to find his way through your arms.
И здесь идет речь, судя по всему, о том, что Аверим сказал, что он постучал. Но сейчас разбирают этот момент. И все-таки, наверное, говорит Джо Роган, что мало это было похоже на то, что Миочич постучал. Желает удачи Авериму.
Dave Doyle of MMA Fighting. It was one of MMA's most controversial verbal exchanges in 2016. Right after suffering a brutal knockout loss to Stipe Miocic in the main event of UFC 203, Overeem was interviewed in the middle of the octagon by UFC color commentator Joe Rogan. Overeem, who was clearly still shaking off the cobwebs, claimed Miocic tapped to a guillotine choke earlier in what had been a memorable back-and-forth one-round battle. Replays showed Miocic didn't tap, and Overeem was booed by the crowd in Miocic's hometown of Cleveland as commentator Rogan aggressively countered his claims. The entire scenario led many to question whether the UFC should continue the practice of interviewing fighters in the arena immediately after having suffered knockout losses. Joe Rogan put me on the spot, Overeem said on Monday's edition of the MMA Hour. My coaches were the ones that addressed the issue with me. They were like, Alistair, he tapped, and I told them, listen guys, are you actually 100% sure? And they told me we're 100% sure. That's where I picked it up. Rogan jumped on it, and I saw he was like, I got you. He had me on that one. But it's all good. We came very close in the guillotine. He did an excellent job escaping the guillotine and pressing the fight, Overeem said. The other thing was, it was over so quick I didn't really have any damages. 2 right shots, right on the jaw. He has a great right hand. It was already over. I was not gassed, I wasn't tired, I didn't have any damage. So kudos to Stipe Miocic. He's a champion for a reason. He's very strong, very accurate. And he took me out.
Dude, how about Stipe's ground and pound on Overeem?
Dude, Overeem...
I've been thinking about that this whole time. Like, how fucking hard did he hit him with those 3 shots?
Perfect shots,
fucking
too.
Perfect.
Perfect placement.
When that guy was stacking him earlier, and he got fucking hitting the guy in the head, and you guys were talking about the triangle, I'm like, he had
Think how
some of those
hard
fucking
Stipe hits.
Stipe shots have been fucking
But
over
also,
right there.
Overeem's not exactly, his motherboard, message board has been hit a bunch of times.
All right, man, is this heaven?
It kind of is.
No, listen,
Brendan,
his neck is
Brendan.
getting all weak. Brendan, tighten your mouth. No, that's what they do. Brendan.
Is that C-Mate Gray? Oh, God.
All right, listen, bro.
Oh, I want in.
Dude, don't be that guy. What do you have, a cramp?
Oh, I want in. I'm so hard right now.
I'm not going to look in your eyes.
No, I'm so hard.
That's what you're trying to do.
I'm so hard.
He is hard.
Ew.
Oh, God, it's gross.
Well, that's why after the fight I said I don't want to do interviews with fighters after they got knocked out again.
I appreciate that.
Yeah,
we should never
I
do
think we
that.
all appreciate that.
When he said that,
as I was
the
watching
guy
it, I was
tapped,
like, oh, don't fucking talk.
when he said the guy tapped, I was like, fuck, imagine if he tapped. Like, are we going to see a tap? Like, I had no idea. You don't know if you miss something during the actual calling of a fight because it's happening live and it's so chaotic. And it's right after Alistair dropped him, then he went for the guillotine, then all of a sudden they're on their feet again. It happened so fast. When he said it, he was so adamant.
That's got knocked
So I was
out.
like, I know.
What about the truck in the back, though, Joe?
There's-
Don't they
they're
go?
going-
Aren't they going, Joe? He didn't tap. Do you really want to show
No,
this?
they don't know. They don't know.
For
They
sure.
watched the fight live. They watched the fight
You want
live.
to find out. You
So
want to find out whether
they're-
he tapped,
they
maybe he
didn't-
tapped, maybe he didn't.
yeah.
You find out, it's entertaining.
It's totally
beautiful thing.
possible that
Hey,
if he
I
did
loved
tap, that someone saw it in the truck, they would have said it. But they didn't say it. But they're like, we'll play it for you. And I said, okay, we're gonna play it. And so they had it queued up. They played it, and then he was still insistent. I'm like, okay, well maybe it's the other hand. But I was thinking, man, this does not look good.
No.
And then like, but
Made him look worse.
but it has to be solved. It has to be resolved. You know, when the guy says the guy tapped,
Can't
you
have
have
a
to show
world
it.
champion.
Yeah, it's part of the game. Let's check it out.
You have to show it.
Yeah, I thought you
have
handled
to
it well.
show
I
it.
thought it was the right thing to do.
But I wish we didn't interview him at all. I wish, you know, I think the guy has to have a chance to. He was completely unconscious, and it took him a while to get back up to his feet, and to have a conversation with him about strategy, about where it went wrong.
It's insane.
It's crazy.
It's
Doesn't make any sense.
No other
Understood why
sport
you,
does that.
if it's
Right
not
here.
a knockout, a guy loses and gets submitted or whatever.
But even in other sports,
other than this sucks, I wish I would have won.
Yeah, even in other sports, like the NFL, if a guy has a concussion, he's not doing interviews, man. He's not right in the head. If a guy breaks his leg or tears a knee, they're not interviewing him. Because what the fuck's he gonna see? You know what kind of fucking frame of mind that guy's in? It's nuts. So you're 100% right, Joe. I love that.
Well, you know, it's something I had suggested a long time ago, back when we interviewed Mirko Krokop after Gonzaga knocked him out. I was looking in his eyes, man.
That night you guys interviewed him?
Yeah, I interviewed him right after the fight. And I was like, we can't do that anymore. And I said it to him, and we just kept doing it.
What if it's good for ratings? Like if they get knocked out, guaranteed interview.
It can't be good, though.
I'm not doing it anymore.
I mean, they don't even show him on the ground anymore. They pan away on the camera.
Did they tell you yes or no, Joe? Or
I don't care. I'm not doing it anymore.
You're going to do it.
I'm not doing it.
Sir,
when
look at
guys
me.
get... Shut the fuck
You're
up.
going to...
If guys get knocked the fuck out...
You don't want to talk to him?
If guys get knocked the fuck out, if someone really wants to talk to them, they're going to have to talk to them. I'm not talking
Bruce
to
Buffer's going to jump in that bitch. How you feeling?
Bruce will do a great job. I don't think we need to, and I think the UFC agrees. It's
better for the sport.
What made Alistair look bad, and I think if you gave him a few hours or even a day to talk about it, he probably would realize that never happened, and it was just his brain was scrambled.
Well, even Stipe, when you're talking to him, he's like, yeah, he hit me with a kick. No, sir, that was a punch.
Right,
well, he said the guy kicks hard.
Kicks hard. It didn't make any sense. What the fuck are you talking about?
He did get kicked hard in the body.
Yeah, he did.
And, I mean, he could have been mentioning that, but he probably didn't realize what knocked him down.
He was concussed, too.
He's out. John Jones has done it. John Jones is back, and he is the new UFC light heavyweight champion. How about it?
Wow. He is still down. That was brutal. Absolutely brutal.
Perhaps he was allowed to take one or two strikes too many, Joe.
Yeah, and as emphatic as it gets. And there's the head kick, which started it all off. Perfect placement. DC's in big trouble. John moves in and closes the show.
And that's just those deep kicks and the low kicks adding up. DC thought it was low, and he went high with it.
He tripped him there. John moves in for the kill. Kick to the body. And drops some horrible elbows on him. And DC's just way too hurt here to do anything about it. And he's eating some big bombs. Big John gives him every chance in the world. That's a wrap.
When a window opened, he barged right through it.
That was the approach of a pound-for-pound best. Yeah, that's what that approach was. And John Jones fought a smart fight, did everything tactically. Greg Jackson gave him great advice. Stay consistent, and over the course it will add up, and that's what caused the demise of the fight.
Not sure what Cormier's issue is right now.
I think DC just wants to shake his hand. I think he's kind of out of it right now. I think he wants to just say something to Jones. I don't think he's trying to cause a problem right now. They're just trying to keep everything cool in there.
Dana White wisely gets in the middle there. Cormier frustrated with something. All right, with that, the official decision is brought to you by Metro PCS, who brings you closer than ever to the UFC on a fast nationwide 4G LTE network. Here is Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Big John McCarthy has called a stop to this contest at 3 minutes, 1 second of the third round, declaring the winner by knockout. And now, and again, the new...
It's over, John.
It's over.
You came back?
It is over. Yeah, you know what, Joe? I want to take this time to thank Daniel Cormier for being my biggest rival and motivator. Daniel Cormier, guys, he has absolutely no reason to hang his head. He has been a model champion, a model husband, a model father, a teammate, leader, And I aspire to be a lot more like that man because he's an amazing human being. Unfortunately, we are opponents, but outside of that, he is a true champion for the rest of his life.
Congratulations, John. I hope your life from now on is nothing but good.
There's something about rivalries that brings the great out of all of us, and to show that kind of respect and to be that respectful, John Jones, it shows the maturity of himself through the ups and downs of his career. And Daniel Cormier is not done either. Don't think, ladies and gentlemen, that just because he's hurt right now, he's done. He is not out of this. An incredible performance.
I'm here with Daniel Cormier. Daniel, give us your thoughts right now.
I don't know, man. I thought the fight was going well. I don't even know what happened. It's like I kicked in the head. Oh, man, that's so disappointed.
You know, I don't think it's a good idea to interview fighters after they've been knocked out, but I really wanted to give you a chance to express yourself. I know this was an incredible moment for you. It was very emotional. What can you say at all about this and the rivalry between you and John?
I don't know, man. I guess if you win both fights, there is no rivalry, so I don't know.
Thank you for everything, Daniel. Daniel Cormier, ladies and gentlemen.
Daniel Cormier humbled in defeat tonight.
I'm of the opinion that we don't owe these fighters anything. They fight for their money. They just so happen to entertain us, you know? At the same time, you know, these fighters don't owe us anything. And I don't expect shit, you know what I mean?